In this video, we'll speak about our novel Wuthering Heights, which is written by Emily Pronat. Let's begin together. First, we will know some information about the author Emily Pronat. She was born on July 30, 1818. She has brothers and sisters, Annie, Charlotte, and Branwell. In 1842, she went to Brussels with Charlotte. In 1847, The Wuthering Heights was published, her knowledge, his famous knowledge. She died of tuberculosis on December 19, 1848. The Hatfield edition of the complete poems of Emily Jane Pronat was published in 1948. This is just general information about the author Emily Pronat. In Wuthering Heights, we have two families, Mr. Earnshaw, the family of Earnshaw, and the Linton's family. So we have Mr. Earnshaw and Mr. Linton. Mr. Earnshaw has a boy, a son is called Henley, and a daughter is called Catherine, and he adopted a person who is called Heathcliff. He is not his legal son. What about Mr. Linton? Mr. Linton has a son called Edgar and a daughter called Isabella. Henley got married to Frances before the death of Mr. Earnshaw, and they got a boy called Hareton. Then Catherine got married to Edgar, and they got a girl called Cathy. Then Heathcliff got married to Isabella, and they got a boy called Linton. And then at the end, we will find that Cathy and Linton are going to marry. First, I have a family who is called Earnshaw, as we said. The Earnshaw lived in a house called Wuthering Heights. The narrator of the novel, or the one who is narrating the novel, we have two narrators. Nellie Dean is one of the old servants for the Earnshaw's family. And we have Lockwood. Lockwood is a person who is going to buy the house at the end of the story. So first we have Mr. Earnshaw brings Heathcliff to live at Wuthering Heights with his two children, Catherine and Henley. So Mr. Earnshaw has two children legally, Catherine and Henley, and he adopted Heathcliff to live with them. Then Mr. Earnshaw sends Hindley away to college. After a period of time, Mr. Earnshaw sends Hindley, his son, away to a boarding college. So a boarding college, it's a kind of college that you can stay at and study at the same time. After a while, Mr. Earnshaw dies. Then Hindley and Frances, his wife, take the control of Wuthering Heights. So who is taking control of the house now? Hindley and his wife Frances take control of the Wuthering Heights. Hareton is born in June. Hareton is Hindley's and Frances' son. After the birth of Hareton, Frances dies. So Hindley begins his slide into alcoholism. He was very sad about the death of his wife, and so he became to drink a lot, and he became to be an alcoholic. Catherine becomes engaged to Edgar Linton, and Heathcliff leaves Wuthering Heights. The moment that Catherine got engaged to Edgar Linton, Heathcliff was very angry and he left the house. Catherine and Edgar are married. Then Heathcliff arrives at Thrushcross Grange in September. Thrushcross Grange is the house where the Linton family lives. So Earnshaw lives in Wuthering Heights and Linton lives in Thrushcross Grange. Heathcliff and Isabella get married in the early part of the year. So when Heathcliff returned back again after the marriage of Catherine and Edgar, he got married to Isabella, who is Edgar's sister. Catherine becomes ill with brain fever, and young Catherine is born late in the year. So, Catherine, the big Catherine, who got married to Edgar, she became very ill, and she was pregnant at that time. So she delivered the baby Catherine or young Catherine, Kathy, and then she died. Early in the year, Isabella leaves Wuthering Heights and settles in London. Lenton is born. After a while, Isabella left the country, and she went to London. She delivered or gave birth to Lenton, the baby Lenton. Isabella at that moment was very angry, and she fought a lot with Heathcliff. So she left everything and went to London. Hindley, then we know that Hindley dies because he became alcoholic. So Heathcliff inherits Wuthering Heights. At that moment, Heathcliff inherits Wuthering Heights. Young Catherine meets Hareton and visits Wuthering Heights for the first time. At that time, young Catherine, who is Catherine's daughter, was with her father, Hareton, at the Lakshire Grange, and she was living with him. Nellie Dean was a faithful servant, so she kept getting Kathy away from Wuthering Heights in order not to be in contact with Heathcliff. So, while it was the first time here to meet Hareton and visit Wuthering Heights for the first time. Lenton comes from London after Isabella dies. So Lenton is Isabella's and Heathcliff's son. Young Catherine stages her romance with Lenton in the winter. Early in the year, young Catherine is imprisoned by Heathcliff and forced to marry Lenton. So after a while, Heathcliff was planning to take revenge from Edgar because he married Catherine, who he loved a lot in the past, and he want to after that he will hire, or baby Catherine will hire the cross Grudge. She will hire it from her father after the death of her father. So he was planning to take revenge from them by getting Catherine marry his son Lenton. Edgar Lenton dies. So Edgar Lenton dies and left Catherine without anyone. Lenton, then after a while, after Catherine and Lenton got married, Lenton died. Heathcliff assumes control of Thrushcross Grange. So he got control of also what Thrushcross Grange. Late in the year, Lockwood rents. So after that, Lockwood, who is the narrator of the novel, rents the Grange from Heathcliff and begins his fantasy. In a winter storm, Lockwood takes ill and begins conversing with Nellie Dean. Nellie Dean was their servant who tells everything to Lockwood. Thank you for your attention.